Hello and welcome to iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. This is a Blade and Soul skill discussion for the Warlock. The Warlock is a very powerful class in Blade and Soul, and it's made even more powerful by its beastly, underworld companion Thrall. If left to his own devices, he'll do a lot of great things, but there are a few ways you as a responsible pet owner can make Thrall even better. First, let's talk about Thrall's base abilities. They aren't very complex, so we'll go over them pretty quickly. Pulse, Claw, Gravity Well, and Nether Pulse are Thrall's main abilities, and they're all used automatically based on Thrall's position relative to his current enemy. Pulse is a low damage ranged attack. Thrall will use this ability automatically if he isn't within melee range of his current enemy. Claw is a very cleverly named medium damage melee attack that applies a stacking damage buff to Thrall. If Thrall is in melee range, he'll use this ability automatically. Nether Pulse is a high damage attack that Thrall will only use on enemies you mark with target or enemies he marks with Claw tier 3. Lastly, we have Gravity Well. This ability pulls enemies towards Thrall up to 5 times. He'll use this ability automatically when enemies come near him. Okay, now that we know about the things Thrall will do on his own, let's talk about how you, the Warlock, can help him out. One of the most interesting components about Thrall is that he cannot move. That is, he won't actively follow his current target. He's a lazy son of a bitch and he'll stay his ass exactly where you summoned him unless you make use of specific commands. Fall In is a command that instructs Thrall to dive from his current position back to your side. When he lands, he deals heavy damage to all the targets around him. It's important to note Fall In cannot be activated if you're under the effects of crowd control, and it won't activate if you're moving. You have to stand still. I don't know why, but that's how it works. Now, the reason this ability is so important is because, like I mentioned before, Thrall cannot move. If you want to optimize his damage output, you need to tell him where to go. You don't have to do this, but Thrall's melee attack does significantly more damage than his ranged attack, and Fall In, if you can get it to hit the target, it deals some pretty sweet damage. So if you want to be a super badass Warlock that everyone in the crossover dungeon finder remembers, then use Fall In. Next up, we have Onrush. In addition to calling Thrall to your side, you can send him out to do your bidding. Onrush has a long 24-second cooldown and will send Thrall launching at your target to deal some big damage to all nearby enemies. For 2 skill points, you can spec this ability for a taunt and a knockback, or a taunt and a stun. Both have uses for different things. So those are the basics. Now let's talk about the fancy stuff. Gravity Well, one of Thrall's automatic abilities, can be spec'd into different supporting options. Circle of Wrath creates a field that increases allied damage dealt while inside the field. Hallowed Ground grants nearby allies focus regeneration. Both are powerful tools, but in order to use them effectively, you, the Warlock, need to position Thrall. Remember, he won't make smart decisions because he's lazy and stupid, so you have to do the thinking for him. If you want to use these supporting abilities efficiently, make sure you summon or position Thrall in a place where his buffs will hit the most targets. We're almost done here, people. The last and most devastating of Thrall's abilities are Obliterate, Soul Burn, and Time Distortion. Obliterate is geared more towards solo play and PvP. It commands the Thrall to self-destruct and deal massive damage to all nearby enemies. Additionally, when he blows up, the cooldown of your summon ability is reduced by 6 seconds, which grants you near 100% uptime on Thrall. Soul Burn is currently the most powerful group buff in the game. For 15 seconds, party members gain access to special awakened versions of their abilities. Additionally, they recover their focus, get some damage buffs, and most important of all, they get a sexy exclusive costume for the duration, which is obviously the most important aspect of this ability. Last but certainly not least, Time Distortion creates a small field around Thrall for 5 seconds. In this field, your cooldowns get reset up to 3 times over 5 seconds. While this ability can be hard to coordinate with other party members, if you've got your ability rotation down, you can dish out some ridiculous damage during the 5 seconds Thrall is using Time Distortion. Also remember, it resets both defensive and offensive abilities. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Thrall. He's an integral part of the Warlock and how the Warlock plays. If you can learn how to manage this big oaf of a pet, then you can do some great things. So, as always, iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.